Welcome to Realtors Unfiltered, where we pull back the curtain on the world of real estate. No fluff, no filters, just real stories, real advice, and the realities of buying, selling, and everything in between. This is your host, Inas Latif. Whether you're a client looking for your dream home or an agent seeking inspiration and insight, you've come to the right place. Let's get started. Welcome to Realtors Unfiltered. I'm your host, Inas Latif. Today we have a special guest, Tonya Cunningham, founder and owner of Next Chapter Solutions in Western New York. Her company specializes in home organizing, move management, decluttering, downsizing, and helping people transition smoothly into their next chapter many times. Tonya, welcome. I'm excited to dig into your journey and how you help transform homes and lives. Tell us a little bit about how Next Chapter Solutions began.
So Next Chapter Solutions began unexpectedly. It was kind of an accidental transition, or incidental, I should say, where I was a stay-at-home / work-from-home mom for 20 years before working from home was a thing. Nobody believed that I actually worked because I was working from home. Yeah. But in the many things that I did from home, I was a legal assistant, an executive assistant. I picked up files from attorneys. I just found little odd jobs to do. And one of the things that came up in that process was helping friends and neighbors organize their homes. And it was something that I just did. Friends, family, neighbors, if someone needed help organizing, I just loved doing it. And so I would just, that was the thing that I enjoyed doing during those years that I was a stay / work from home mom.
That's interesting. Did you do it as a favor for your friends, like hang out and drink wine after?
Favor. When it started with neighbors, then it became more of a, like they would just give me something for it. And it was very casual. It was not a formal business. Yeah. When my kids grew up, and the last were 16 and 19, and because I have 7 children, we're a blended family.
God
and
bless.
When the youngest 2 were 16 and 19, it was 2021 post-pandemic, and I'm thinking, I'm almost 40. No, I was almost 50 years old at that time, 49, and what am I going to do with the next stage of my life? And what am I going to be what do I want to be when I grow up? It was so, I thought, geez, I wish I could just make money organizing homes.
So that was your aha moment?
That was the aha moment, and I thought I was just going to go and organize homes, and I realized very quickly, I started Next Chapter Solutions August of 2021, and realized very, very quickly that this was not something I could do alone. It was not the same as working alongside my friends and neighbors and family, just helping them sort things and, coming and going as with whatever schedule worked. I realized that the seriousness of running a business required at least an assistant. And my 16-year-old is high functioning on the autism spectrum, and he was also post-pandemic, not really knowing what to do or having anything to do. I started taking him on jobs as my runner. So he did the lifting and the moving and the handing me things when I'm on a ladder, that sort of thing.
I call it the muscle.
The muscle. He is definitely the muscle, and still is. And he just turned 21 yesterday. So he is still our muscles guy. He's our runner. So then my own home fell behind. So my home that I took such great pride in having clean and organized, it fell apart because I was taking care of everybody else. Yeah. So I hired a cleaning woman. We got talking, and she was like, oh, I would love to do that. I started taking her on jobs as another assistant, and it just snowballed. And by early 2022, we had a team of 5 to 7 people, and we were going into homes and realized that that clients actually appreciated how quickly we could flip a space. And then at the same time, my son had his moving company, and people were asking if he had packers, and his team does not pack for moves. So we started packing and unpacking for Stellar Movers moves as well. And that's how it just kind of evolved to where it is now. It just was a natural snowball.
I love the organic growth. Organic growth is just amazing to me because of course, if it's organic growth and you don't know how to focus on the business and treat it like a business, it could be a disaster. But organic growth with the realization that this is a business and you got to treat it like a business now, it's just wonderful and amazing. And I'm always proud that that's how our team began and that's how our team started and grew. It was so organic. It was unplanned. And it was more on accident type of situation, out of need, similar situation.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Looking at your About page, you talk about turning multiple households into one and organizing through life stages and leveraging organizing systems and so forth. How did you shared how your life experience shaped your business, but what do you mean by turning multiple households into one?
If I'm being really honest, I don't remember that part on the About Me page, but I probably meant that because we are a blended family. My husband and I have, we were like the backwards Brady Bunch, and he had girls and I had boys, and they were all knee high at the time, and we merged our households into one, and we had duplicates of everything. And I think that's where, for me, the being able to make those decisions with what should stay and what should go, and how can I operate a household with this many children, and we had cats and dogs, and it sounds chaotic, but I was able to make it not so chaotic. So now some of our clients often have that situation where they're like, because blended families are more and more common now, so they're merging households, and even couples, young people are moving in together where years ago that was not common. Young people are moving in together who don't have children, but they had their own houses or apartments or something first. So that blending of items and trying to make the decisions of what can fit and what do we actually need and are going to use. So I imagine that's probably where I was going with that.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
Yeah.
But to your point, it's not just about maybe doubles of everything. It's also how can we organize our space and our home so we can function on a daily basis without it being chaotic. So give us some examples on how you did that in your own experience with your own family.
So I was young at the time. I was 29, 30, something like that. And so I didn't have as much experience with different homes, and realizing that just because I think something will fit doesn't mean necessarily that it will. And so with my own home and family, it was trial and error, really, and realizing, okay, what do we like better? What actually fits better? What's going to function better? And function, I think, is the big key thing. Is that I started realizing that function was much more important than form, in the sense that we needed it to work and be practical. And I like for things to look nice too. I like the aesthetic aspect of things, but function has to come first. So I actually, in training my employees, I emphasize that function comes before form. Like, yes, we want things to look nice at the end, but we need to know that it's actually going to work. So, for example, if we have two couches, and we know that we often have the kids' cousins or something like that over on the weekends, we might decide to keep the couch that is the sofa bed as opposed to the really pretty couch that, is white, and we don't want kids jumping all over. And so when we go into homes, to transfer that to what we do now, when we go into homes, we ask questions. I warn people right away that it sounds like I'm being nosy, but there's really a reason for every single one of my questions. So I ask those questions, like, how many children are there? How old are they? What do you like for them to do? Where do you like for them to sleep? How do you envision this room? That way, we're looking at not just how it looks. It's easy to look at our before and after pictures and say, oh, they made that look great. But really what I like to know is from the client that we made it operate well. So that came from my own experience in blending households.
Yeah, I love that. What about spaces like, and maybe we can elaborate on that a little bit more in a while, but spaces like kitchens and those types of spaces, laundry room, kitchens, how to make them function better?
So I'm all about containerization. Everyone is not always, but containerization solves a lot of problems. If you're not the kind of person that's going to put things away, though, in those containers, then we have to talk about a different solution. But I think containers for kitchens and laundry rooms are the answer to usually.
To your point, I always tell my husband, I hate to bring him into this, but he's one person that never puts something back where it belongs.
That's very common.
And it's almost impossible to stay organized because of that. And I'm like, just put it where it belongs. Like, as soon as you're done with it, put it back where it belongs. You'll also find it the next time you need it.
Right.
Tonya, I'm very interested to get a better understanding of how do you scope a project and manage someone's timeline and your timeline for that project, but also more in depth of what does the process look like? If I'm hearing this today and I'm like, do I need this service? Don't I need this service? Like, maybe I'm overwhelmed about it, scared. Tell me, what's the process look like?
Sure. So the process always begins with that contact, the lead that reaches out, either because they saw a social media post or it was word of mouth or referral or wherever they heard of us. They either text me, call me, or we are in the process right now of switching over to a CRM. So we do have a contact form on our website, and it has more detailed questions on that. So this process,
every business needs a CRM.
Yes. And so the initial part of the process is changing a little bit now. So it's a little more complex to answer that question, but someone reaches out to me. We set up a consultation. Every process begins with a consultation, and I require the consultation because we have a large team of employees. We are a team of almost 20 people. Over half are women, and we're going into people's homes and personal spaces, and so I need to go and meet with the client. I need to feel that we're in a relatively safe area, that,
safe
that's
environment.
The right, yes,
absolutely.
that it's the right
I can relate to that.
Yeah. So I set up a consultation, go to the client's home, and I'm watching for all of the things. I'm all about good vibe, with people, and people are often nervous. So right away, I let them know we are compassionate and non-judgmental. You don't have to apologize for your mess, because if you didn't have a mess, I wouldn't have a business, right? So I don't apologize for that, right?
Right.
And I'm the kind of person that when I see the mess, I actually get excited. I don't feel that like, ew, how did it get this way? Or, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. I actually, and most of the time, get excited where, wow, I know we can fix this. I know my team can come in and do this. So I ask the client to show me as much of their home as they are comfortable showing me. Usually in the contact form or in our text messages, they will have explained that they only need their basement organized or only a bedroom. 9 times out of 10, the client ends up showing me their whole house, which is great, because if I understand the whole house, then I understand how we can help.
Because maybe some pieces need to be in a different place completely.
Yes. Right. Yeah. So then that's all part of it too. So we have 3 basic approaches to how we organize homes. We have our page by page, it's called, where we will send 1 or 2 organizers to work directly with a client, or we have paragraphs where we send a group of organizers, so a whole team, whether it's 5 people or 15 people, to work with the client the first day and then independently the second day. That's where our fast flips come in. And then we have what we call new chapter, which is the whole home is in need of our services. And so those are the things that I'm watching for during consultation. I'm also listening to the client to see, are they the type of person who is saying, well, I need this water bottle to be sitting right here. And, if they seem like they know what they want, but they just need that accountability, or especially in our senior citizens, we find that they need someone to just sit with them and listen to the stories and help them to decide what to do with their items. And in that case, I'll recommend a page by page, that gradual approach. But if it's someone who's saying, I don't have time, I just need it done, then if it's a chunk of the home, we say paragraph. If it's the whole home, we say new chapter. It is a no obligation consultation, so I write up a quote. They can respond to they respond to the email, with which I give them a variety of options so that there's no pressure.
Yeah.
They can respond with which option they want. I also list dates on there. They can respond with the dates they want. And the only thing I ask is that when we're doing that quick flip, that the client is home, so we're working with them that first day. That's when we're asking all the questions. That's when we're decluttering, deciding what goes, what stays, what gets moved to different areas of the home. And then the second day, I actually ask that the client is not in our workspace, because I train my team to work as a well-oiled machine, fastly, efficiently, and the client gets the most bang for their buck that way too, because we're able to just get the job done free of other contractors, pets, clients, things like that. So.
Yeah, understandable. I love the approach that you have, different types of services that you can provide based on the client, because it's not one size fits all. I like that you have the one chapter, or the whole transition and so forth. That's an awesome approach for sure. What process do you use to ensure that things do stay on track? Like once they are organized and all of that, is there any follow-up service that you offer?
So the first thing we do is at the end of, I'll use the paragraphs or new chapter fast flips as an example. At the end of that day, when I ask the client to not be in our workspace or to not be home because we organized, we also ask them to come back for a walkthrough at the end of that day. So we walk them through, and if there's anything that needs to be changed right away, they're like, I can't live with that like that, because they're entrusting us to use our judgment and our organizing skills. Mm-hmm. If there's something that they just can't live with it, we can fix it right then and there, or I might send someone back later. Usually then what we do is we flip back to that, what we call page by page, meaning that I will send just one or two organizers to address those specific things afterwards. If I usually check in with a client within a couple weeks afterwards, and I recommend that they set up a page by page within 2 to 6 weeks after we were there. I tell them, give yourself time to live in the space the way that it is. Mm-hmm. And I also tell them there's something they're not going to be able to find. Guarantee it. They're going to be texting me, don't panic, don't worry, that's normal. Your things are changed around. So text me, I send a message to my team, I let them know. But if I find that that's happening a lot, then I'll say, let's set you up with a page by page so we can come in and fix this more to the way that it works for you. That's rare though. Usually clients don't. We do offer those maintenance plans, but clients don't usually, if we did our job right, clients don't usually need us to come back for the same area, or at least not for a while. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, I almost feel like if it was me, I would want a yearly check-in kind of situation. What did I put where it's not supposed to be, in that place? Or what did I add to that space that's not necessary? Or maybe what a year ago I still needed, I don't need anymore, and just stay on top of it instead of having to do a new chapter every time, right?
Exactly.
So I love that you offer that page by page, because that's a great yearly service that someone can have to maintain all, the new chapter that you worked on.
Update,
yeah. So when you organize someone's home, you just mentioned sometimes they text you, they can't find something. How do you communicate with them after they come home that day, when your team worked in the home on their own? How do you communicate with them where everything is? Do you take them through the house and show them around, or how does it work?
Yep. So although we ask them to not be home while we're doing the work, we're usually done by 3:00, and I tell the client we'll send you a text or we'll call you with a 20 to 30 minutes heads up that we're finishing up. They come home. And preferably, unless we were running behind, sometimes my team has to leave, but I try to make it where the whole team is there for the walkthrough, because everyone is assigned zones on my team. So we walk the client through. It's a reveal style walkthrough, and we're actually showing them their space and pointing out, anything that we think might be important. For example, in kitchens, it's often fire extinguishers or, those choking things that people keep on hand. We try to point out important things like that, or something that we know, if we know someone bakes a lot, it's really important that they know where their spatulas are, that sort of thing. We point those things out, and then still they can text us afterwards. And
yeah. Are there any images that you provide too, or is that not something that you're doing?
Not usually. We've talked about it, but it extends the length of time then that we're actually there and working on the project, and we try to be budget conscious for our clients as well.
Yeah, that's understandable. So when it comes to decluttering, can you give me an idea of the scale uh, of stuff that you're able to declutter or remove from the home?
Sure. So if the client chooses that page-by-page approach, which is one or two organizers working directly with them session by session, then our organizers are allowed to take as many items away as will comfortably fit in their vehicles without impeding their vision or, anything else. When I go for smaller, say, what we call paragraphs, chunk of the home jobs, I'm able to take as much as will fit in our work van, which is more than our employees can usually fit in their cars. But my husband's company, Clutter Courier, has a 20-foot trailer. And he started his company because we were calling on him so much to come and get the things that didn't fit in our van and in our work vehicles, that we were having him come and get much larger things, or sometimes even just with projects moving things around, we needed the extra muscles and manpower. And so we were calling on him so much that he ended up purchasing this larger trailer, and so we're able to do larger scale decluttering as well. We're able to take trash away, whereas when it's just a one-on-one situation, we're not usually taking trash away. So we have the capacity to handle much larger jobs.
Mm-hmm. Now you're giving ideas to my husband, because I call him often to come empty out some stuff from a house that someone left that my buyers didn't want, kind of situation.
Yep, we're there for
but
it.
I don't want him to charge me for it, so I'm not giving him that idea.
Oh.
Let me ask you this. Do you remove things like paint, unwanted paint, things like that, maybe old technology,
Yes.
old TVs, things like
Yes.
that?
So in the paragraphs and new chapter approaches that I was just describing, those are where page by page is a hourly approach, and then meaning hourly rate.
Right.
But with paragraph and new chapter, it's a flat rate quote, and I usually roll the Clutter Courier services into that flat rate quote, and under that, then we can take the trash, we can take paint, we can take electronics, we can take cribs, things that we normally would not be able to just with our little work van or with my employees' cars.
And it's hard to get rid of for most people. Like, where do I take my paint is a question I often get, all of that. Nobody wants those big TVs either, right?
Right. My husband has contacts for all of that.
Yeah. And part of your business, too, is a moving company. Is that correct?
That's my son's business, yes, Stellar Movers.
Yeah. Tell us more about that.
So most people think that my husband and I had businesses, and then my son started a moving business. In actuality, my son was just born working hard, and I don't know where he got it from, but he started his own moving business at 18 years old.
I think he got it from his mama.
I don't know, maybe, but he started his moving business at 18 years old. And that was before my husband and I had we had businesses, but not at the scale that we do now. And so it was actually his business that came first, and Stellar Movers took off. It actually is rated number 1 on Google search results for local movers. And he ended up at a certain point a few years ago, after I started Next Chapter Solutions, people were calling him asking for people to pack or unpack from moves. And he had never had that ability prior to my forming Next Chapter. Once I started hiring people, he kept asking me, did we want to pack or unpack? And I'm like, nah, I don't like moving. We're not packing or unpacking. Well, we started doing it, and my team loved it. So that has become a core part of what we do as well. We pack and unpack for moves, and concierge style move management services. So it's like a one call does it all, one-stop shop sort of thing for moves.
I love the power of all the family business that you have and how it works so well together, and probably helped each other's businesses grow. It's almost like you're building your own family empire at this time. I'm interested and intrigued to see how far you can go with that. That's amazing.
Thank you.
So you mentioned that your business started organically and your team grew organically, but I'm sure it got to a point where you, especially that you cover Erie and Niagara County, that you had to start building a team. We talked about treating it like a business, building a team, and so forth. How do you recruit? How do you train? How do you maintain the quality and consistency across your staff for your clients?
So, being a service business, we are unable to offer steady hours to our employees, and that was a little tricky in the beginning because most people need steady hours, right, for a job. And because we only work weekdays, it was like, okay, I'm looking for people who are available during the week and who can rock with our busy times and roll with our not busy times. And so it was a little tricky in the beginning. And what I ended up doing was advertising that this is a part-time side gig, or what I call less than part-time side gig. Mm-hmm. And so what I ended up with was a lot of applicants who are stay-at-home moms, but just wanted to be able to get out of the house a couple days a week and work. And in exchange, well, not just stay-at-home moms. I have a retired nurse. I have a social worker who works part-time. She's a licensed clinical social worker, and she works part-time in her other job, but she had free time to work. It's a flexible schedule, so she was able to also work with us. So people who are in situations where they don't necessarily need the money to, say, make a mortgage or rent payment, but they wanted to be able to work a little here and there and find something flexible. So when we go into client homes, what I love telling our clients is that my team is here because they want to be here. It's not I have to go to work today. I have to. So when I put shifts out, my team has the option to accept or decline shifts. And 90% always accept. It's rare for anyone to like frequently decline a shift. If I put a shift out, they're all like ding, 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 accepting it right away. So when we go into homes, our team actually wants to be there and they love what they're doing. So I'm not sure I answered your question directly. I may have gone off to the side with that, but
I think you answered a little bit more about why it's consistent. You know, your service is consistent in the quality. But how do you go about recruiting people? How are you finding those right people to join you?
Usually Facebook pages. We do have an ad on Indeed. We don't have as much success on Indeed because with Indeed, people are looking for
that typical
consistency.
9 to 5.
Yes. Right. So we don't have as much success there, but Facebook pages, I go in Facebook groups and advertise, and it's those people that didn't look on Indeed because they weren't looking for a steady job, but they're like, I would love to just get out of the house a couple days a week. Yeah. So,
I love that. The power of social media, right?
Right.
Can you give us a quick tip for someone feeling overwhelmed in their home right now, or maybe one mistake you often see in prep for sale scenarios?
Prep for sale scenarios, I think the biggest thing is the clutter, and people look at it as they automatically see overwhelm, and with it's hard to narrow it down to a simple answer, but essentially it's pick it up. What I like to say is, what is it? Where does it go? And just pick it up. Think, how long have you used it? How long has it been since you've used it? What is it? Where does it go? Get things in that into zones. Moving something as simple as, okay, this goes here with the other water bottles, and start that way. You can group things together, like things, and see what you have. Starting small sounds so cliche, but it's really true. But the decluttering has to be the first step in preparing a home for sale, I think.
What's one tool or habit that you rely on a daily basis?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
One tool or habit that you rely on a daily basis.
Containers.
Okay. Back to the containers.
I'm all about containers. I love labels too, but containers. When you're looking for something, you don't want to knock everything over in front of it to get to the thing you want.
Yeah, absolutely. Tonya, thank you so much for joining me and sharing your story, insight, and energy today. It was amazing. It's clear that you're helping people on so many levels and that you're passionate about it. I love that very, very much for you and for your clients, from their physical spaces to their emotional transition. For our listeners, if you or your clients are facing a move, downsizing, decluttering, or preparing a home for the next chapter, reach out to Tonya Cunningham and her team at Next Chapter Solutions. Tonya, do you mind sharing your direct information?
Sure. Our website is www.nextchapterwny.com, and there is a contact form right on the website. That's the best way to reach us.
Great. Thanks for tuning in to Realtors Unfiltered. Until next time, stay real, stay grounded, and keep making homes better one chapter at a time. Thanks for listening to Realtors Unfiltered, where real estate meets reality. If you're ready to buy, sell, or explore joining our team, visit us at inaslatifsalesteam.com. Until next time, keep it real.